I'm a big proponent of making sure that you're matching and mirroring how the other person on the phone or in person is acting. Meaning, if you're speaking to somebody who has a lot of energy, but you talk to them with your energy, if they're at an energy level at 85 out of 100, and you're speaking to them at an energy level of 14, that's not going to go well.
Like this, like an ASMR.
Exactly. Vice versa, if people are ASMRs and you're coming in with a lot of energy, you're probably going to lose them as well. Right? Now, what I've always learned to do, and very effectively, is bring up your energy or bring down your energy in the tonality as well as the body language to the person that you're speaking with.
So just match them.
Just match them. Now, at first, when you practice this, it might feel a little cringe or creepy or weird. You like the word cringe? That's what the kids call it. Like I heard my boys call it. Yeah, they do.
I wouldn't know. I'm old.
You're not.
I'm getting there.
Okay. To cringe?
No, to old.
Oh, got it. It feels weird at the start, but if you actually practice this, and I'm talking about like after the first 10 times, you'll get a lot more comfortable. But I can tell you what happens is that the person starts to feel, it's an invisible thing that starts to happen. They feel like you are getting to know them.
You want to switch topics. Can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
This is an actual genuine question.
Sure.
Because I was blessed.
Got it.
When I joined this team, I was young. I met you when I was 19.
Yeah.
And I think I was just turning 20. I was able to do deals because I had credibility behind me.
Yeah.
But let's just say there's a 19-year-old salesperson out there that doesn't have the credibility backing them.
Yeah.
And they're young, they're baby-faced, but they're speaking to a 45-year-old investor that has 3 doors under their portfolio. How do they work with that investor?
Well, I think you take one step backwards and make sure that you are resourceful and go get that credibility. What do I mean by that? Is as a 19-year-old, I think you should be with somebody who's been in the business for a little bit. Doesn't need to be 42 years old and in the business for 20 years, but I think that you should be working with a team. I personally believe that the best thing you can do, and there's differing opinions, and if you're live right now, throw them in there. If you're watching the recording, you can still throw it in the comments. I think when you're starting out, at any age, in the real estate business, you should be joining a team. Why? This is one of the, if not the biggest purchase that someone's going to make in their life.
Right.
A. B, as an investor, if you're working, with an investor, you're going to help them create a portfolio, or even maybe just one property for the rest of their lives aside from their personal residence. If you don't know what you're talking about, you could lose a lot of people's money.
Right.
Or you can lose a lot of money of one person.
Right.
So go get that credibility by what exactly you did.
Right.
You joined the team that is known as, and I'm not trying to flex here, but one of the top teams in Toronto right across all franchises. We do a lot of income properties. We do a lot of investment properties. We do land development. We do pre-construction. We have an array. And the things that we don't know, i.e. an apartment building of 47 units, it's not something that we really do. We have the person's phone number in our phone that we can connect with one of the top teams specifically with apartment buildings.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what comes up in the real estate world, we kind of know somebody who knows somebody.
Right.
But then you, as that 19-year-old, now through our network or that team members network or that team leaders network, you now have that credibility. So that's where I would start 100% of the time. I don't care what sales business you're in. In fact, I'm not just spewing shit. It's exactly what I did, man. Like real estate, 23 years old. Fuck, I didn't know my head from my ass. And I was completely scared. Like I was like, I don't want to screw this up.
Right.
I joined one of the guys that was in the business at that time for 22 years, I think. 22, 23 years. Simon, yeah. Became my partner, became my mentor, became my best friend, my third older brother, passed away tragically not too long ago. Most of the guys and gals know the story. And so, but I went straight to him. Rewind even further, bro. I got into the car business, selling cars. I wasn't the kid that had the Ferrari posters and Lamborghini posters on my wall in my room. I wasn't a car nut. Like even now, you know me for a while. I'm not really a car nut. I also didn't know the workings of a car. I also didn't know when you speak. I've been in sales before that, but not with a purchase that someone was making of $60,000, $50,000, $75,000. And it was older people. I'm a 19-year-old kid going into the car business. That brand, Acura, majority of people were like 35 and above ish. You know, there's the Integra, which obviously younger people bought, but I knew nothing about cars. You know what I did? What? I went to the top selling dealership in the country of Acuras. Shout out to Acura 2000, formerly Acura 2000, but Polycaro Acura now.
That was Polycaro.
That was the Polycaros.
Damn.
Right? Like that's how
one of the biggest names in the business.
100%.
Wow.
So that's where I got connected. And then I learned the business through somebody who was doing it at a very high level. My phone skills, where they come from is from CIBC telephone banking. Huh. Like I know where it comes from. The training they provided me, it wasn't a fucking 2-week training on the phones. Like it was like, I think over 2.5 months was the training.
Wow.
You couldn't speak to a customer. You weren't allowed to speak to a customer until you went through the 2.5 month training. And I'll still remember it. A gentleman from Halifax who was doing the training, when it was like now to get on the phones, I sat with him over and above the 2.5 months. I sat with him for like a good like 2 to 3 weeks listening to his calls. And that's where I got the confidence from. That's where I got the training from. And so to answer your question, brother, to get that credibility, go join somebody who already has it. So, because then through the extension of them, you now can speak to it.
Right.
And here's one thing I'll leave people with, and then we'll jump to another story. When someone asks you a question that you don't have the answer to, do not try to bullshit your way through it, especially in 2024, because in the palm of the prospect, customer, client's hands, they can Google the fucking answer.
ChatGPT.
And ChatGPT it, sure. You shouldn't ChatGPT it either. Here's how you answer a question that you don't have the answer for. Mr. and Mrs. Person who's asking me the question, so I don't misinform you, I'm going to go find out. I haven't seen that before. I haven't heard that before. That's it. Because if you're speaking to a normal human being on the other side, 99.99999% of people are going to say, well, thank you for not misinforming me.
Right.
Now, you, as the salesperson, have to go find out the answer. And you do that by asking people. It really, truly comes down to being resourceful. And you can be resourceful a lot easier by being accountable to yourself, right? And so, because then you're not going to blame anyone else, go find out the answer. I get questions, 20 years in the business, man, helping investors. I get questions all the time that I don't have the answers for. I always say, so I don't misinform you, let me go find out the answers. I know the people who know the people that know the people, and then I go and get the answer. If you found that video valuable and you want to watch the full discussion, click here for my podcast. If you want to watch more videos, click here.